Welcome to Unhinged and On Call. I'm Dr. Chelsea, your resident veterinarian.
And I'm Trish, a registered vet tech who's seen it all. Each week, we're pulling back the curtain on the wild world of veterinary medicine, from late night emergencies to barnyard drama.
No filters, no fluff, just real stories, real laughs, and maybe a little emotional damage. Thanks for letting us share the madness with you. Welcome to our show. Today we have a very special guest because she's a great friend of mine, Dr. Ayla Guild. And she and I essentially met. We had kind of weirdly parallel lives going through like horses growing up, pony club, getting into vet school, going to vet school, and then post internship. I guess we would have met. Did we meet before that or just in Wisconsin?
We met when I was doing
time?
an externship at CSU.
That's right. So yeah, because it wasn't Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yeah, we went out to dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we became Facebook friends, and all of a sudden I saw you were in Wisconsin. I was like, "You're just down the road."
Yeah,
oh my
crazy.
God.
Wow.
Yeah. So we ended up, it was very small worlds. Like we were kind of living these parallel lives. And then for 3 years while I was there, we were like became very close. And then now we just like keep up with Christmas cards and things about our kids. And so yeah, welcome to the show, Isla.
Yeah, it's so nice to meet you. I'm excited to talk with you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on. I'm honestly a little nervous because I'm not experienced in the podcasting world, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. We like to say it's just like a conversation with friends, you know? And so it's just by the end, everybody gets nervous. And then by the end, you're like, oh, that was just a nice talk.
Way better than like public speaking with like a room of people just staring at you.
Yeah.
What's she going to say?
And then I can slip up because I often do that. And then you just edit it out. That's great.
That's great.
But yeah, tell us a little bit, especially for the listeners, how you got into veterinary medicine, and then we'll segue into kind of what you're up to now.
Sure. So I was a psychology major in college, and I did a ton of psychology research, and my professors were grooming me to go be a professor and go do research. And I liked the research process. I hated the statistics. I liked the process of thinking up how to do how to answer a research question, but actually carrying it out and sitting at a desk all day long drove me crazy. So I was like, all right, I need to pivot. And like you said, Chelsea, I'd been spending my time all growing up riding horses and 3-day eventing, and I did that through college as well. And I took a year off after college and was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I was working with a Olympic 3-day eventer and had a really bad head injury falling off a horse.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I got to figure out what I want to do after this. It's probably not going to be a trainer. I got really scared after my head injury, and I was like, I don't want to jump the big jumps anymore. So I was like, all right, well, I love the anatomy. I loved in Pony Club going up the ranks and learning about all the science and the how, especially with the horses, like how to help them perform at their best. And so I was like, all right, well, vet school makes some sense. So I had to go back and do a post-bac.
Oh, yeah.
And do
for
all
prereqs.
of my science classes.
Wow.
And I was very lucky. This is getting to be a very long story, but basically I took AP Bio in high school and did really well. And so I got
you got your credits.
Science credits from AP Bio. And because of that, I only had to take a bio lab in my prereq, so I could apply. I applied the same year I did my post-bac.
Wow.
So I literally was doing chemistry over the summer, applied to vet school, and then found out I got in, which I was shocked. I was like, surely I'm not going to get in. And surely, I was like, I'll stay and live in Pennsylvania for a year because I did it at Bryn Mawr. And then I was like, surely I won't get in the first time, but it'll just be experience. And then I got in and I was like, oh,
wow.
Well, I don't really want to wait a year.
Yeah.
And like, I want to start. So,
right. Yeah. Right.
How perfect.
So I did.
Yeah. I love that. And then you went to University of Penn.
I did.
So you went through New Bolton.
Yep.
like one of the best equine
Amazing.
vet
Yeah.
schools in the world.
Did
So
you
it's
have a
very
good
cool.
experience? You enjoyed your time there?
I loved like I loved all the classes on the horses. I was disappointed that there weren't more on my
Yes.
first few
Common theme.
years. Uh, I was like, I don't really, I mean, it's great and all to learn about cats and dogs, but I
Mhm.
really, it
Don't
just
care.
didn't stick in my brain like it did
Yeah.
with the horses.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, the horse parts I loved. And then what was very cool is that the third year, we got to we finished up, we did our white coat ceremony, and then we started clinics pretty quickly in like basically three-quarters of the way through third year. And so I got to go out and do New Bolton classes, and that was
Ah,
amazing.
yeah.
But it was I'm a pretty sensitive soul, and so there are a lot of personalities at New Bolton Center and a bunch of brilliant clinicians. Um, and I struggled with some of that because it was a lot. And I, especially after my head injury, I do not handle sleep deprivation very well.
Mm.
So
Oh.
yeah, I start asking the same questions over and over again, and the residents get irritated with me.
Oh,
And I'm
no.
like, I don't mean to, I'm not trying to be rude.
Oh,
Right. This is
But I
yeah,
just don't remember.
it's the retention.
So
yeah.
yeah, we had to
Yeah.
have a couple of those like hard heart to heart conversations because some of the
Good.
residents were getting really upset
Well,
with
they
me.
just, yes. And they're very sleep
I was
deprived.
going
You
to
know what I
say,
Oh
mean? And
yeah.
they
everyone's
like,
probably tired.
by the third year of their
Yeah.
residency, they don't even really want to talk
Yeah.
to well, some of them don't want to talk to students. You know, they're under a lot of
Yeah.
stress. And
Yeah.
so, and they're the buffer to
It's
the
very
clinicians.
stressful.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean the caseloads I mean weren't as high as they had been, I guess, in previous years. Like where like each student would have 7 or 8 horses like on a surgery rotation that they'd have to take care of. We'd have, 2 or 3 each.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it was still a lot. And I'm such a methodical, I go through things like A, B, C, D, E, F, G,
Yeah.
and I like am thorough to an extreme. So it would take me forever to do my rounds in the morning because I wasn't like, oh yeah, okay, we're good. Like I
Yeah.
I like went and checked everything
Yeah.
because I was so afraid of messing up. Right.
Well,
And that's a whole
yes.
another story. Yeah.
Well, and
So
which is what you want, right? As like
Yeah.
a horse owner and things like that, you
Yeah.
want a thorough clinician
Yeah.
and somebody that's paying attention.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, in the system of cranking out students and getting licenses and all that, like it's all about speed too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what
being
we
prepared.
were fighting over cases at CSU because that was just economically, it was like 2010. Economically, horse people were not as, able to bring in horses to tertiary referral centers. And so
right.
we had lower caseloads as well.
Mm.
And now, like I remember on ambulatory field service, we'd have, I swear, probably days where we didn't have any calls. And it was what required for large animal trackers, it was a required service. They are jam packed and they pretty much have been since like the economy, came back probably 2015 or whatever.
Mhm.
It's been a super busy service. We barely like did any dentals. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things that's the time you went through. And I think probably just based on doing an internship, then, you learn your hands-on stuff in a private practice case setting where you have more cases than locked out
Yeah.
there,
For sure. Well, it's
Yeah.
it's interesting. I mean, even with all of that, I mean, I never saw that many lacerations, right? And you get into
Yeah.
regular private practice, and you're like, that's all I see is
Yeah.
lacerations,
That's
right?
all
On
horses
call.
do.
Yeah, that's all they
And
do.
and
Right?
Colic and
they just
laceration.
run into things and hurt
Right.
themselves, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm good with puncture wounds. That's cool. Like, but
Yeah.
like
I know.
guiding people on wound healing, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
well, we should have had more information. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, CC is probably similar to Penn and like they're grooming everyone to be residents, right? And so
Yeah. Nobody
residents
brings
don't
in,
deal,
nobody brings
nobody
in a
That
deals
makes
with
wound.
like
sense.
regular lacerations.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I mean,
Yeah. But
I
even
just
if
it was that
yeah.
those timing intervals of like how long are things going to take people
Right.
owners would ask me and I'd be like, yeah, a few weeks. But I'm like,
Yeah. We were laughing before when we were talking before the
Yeah.
show. It's like everything heals with time. Yes.
yeah,
Eventually
all
we'll
blood
make it
stops
there.
eventually, right?
Yeah.
Like you said.
Everything heals
All bleeding
eventually.
stops.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. That's great. Well, and then you ended up in Northern Illinois. So that's where we were
Oh, okay.
like kind of
Yeah.
close
Okay.
together. She was working across but we were right on the border. And so
Cool.
then we got to keep our horses at the same farm.
Oh, that's
That
And
was
cool.
fun.
yeah, and doing
Oh.
like both of us doing lower level eventing stuff. And then um, I guess tell us about well, she took over for me when we left at the clinic we were at in
Oh, nice.
Southeast Wisconsin,
Yeah.
which was great. And then you guys kind of, I think simultaneously were starting a meadery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
tell us
cool.
about it, because
Yeah. I've
Trish is. I mean, I am too. I love it.
Yeah.
Like you've got to
That's
get on their
neat.
socials.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the Hive Taproom. Do you know the actual handles,
Yeah.
Isla?
It's the Hive Taproom.
The
Is
Hive
it just
Taproom.
the Hive
Okay. I'll
Taproom?
have
Yeah.
to follow you
THE.
guys.
HIV.
And they
Yeah.
have like
So
distribution, everything. So everybody
Oh my
check out
God.
their tap room.
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah. Um, yeah, we hit a point with all day on call, and we had young kids, and I still hadn't sorted out my like deep, thorough need to get all the answers correct for every case. And I would wake up at 3 in the morning worried about a non-critical case, thinking that I hadn't done enough, right? And I
Oh.
think a lot of us struggle, a lot of us type A perfectionists
Mm,
might struggle with that just in general, but especially in practice when it's like, I didn't have someone higher than me observing, being like, oh, yeah, that's great. And think about X, Y, and Z. And so I was worried that I was missing the X, Y, and Z. And that anxiety coupled with like I had postpartum depression and some anxiety there, like it was just a whirlwind. And
yeah.
so I was, um, yeah, so we had our son. So I
Yeah.
had two kids under 3
Oh.
and
Oh
wasn't
my.
Yeah.
sleeping very much.
No.
And I'd want to just relax at the end of the day and be able to turn my brain off and
Yeah.
be like, hey, you know what? My cases, they're all fine. We'll see them. I'll see them in the morning.
Yeah.
Nobody's in the hospital. Like everyone's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone's
Right.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Uh, and so, I'd have a beer and I hadn't been diagnosed celiac at that point, but I was pretty gluten sensitive. And I
Oh.
would have one
Oh.
beer and I would feel hungover the next day and I
Oh.
would
Oh
get
my
so grumpy.
gosh.
And
Yeah.
Tim was like, no more beer for you.
You're
Like
cut off
Tim
the
cut
beer.
you off.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, we used to love to go to
Oh.
microbreweries and hang out
Yeah.
and
Yes.
Well,
try everything.
yeah.
And it just like my body changed and it just didn't
Wow.
work for me.
Bummer.
And then a glass of wine, I just fall asleep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Tim
Same.
was like, all right, like surely there's something else. And we went out to visit his family in California and we went to this meadery and cidery place. And I was like, great, cider I know is gluten free.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Yeah.
great. Um, and I was like, I don't know what mead is, but cool. So
Yeah.
we tried it and it was fun. It was like lightly carbonated and very herbal
Okay.
forward. And I liked it and I felt great afterwards. I mean, that was the biggest thing I noticed is like I didn't feel any of those same, like I didn't have any GI upset.
Yeah.
I felt joyful rather than grumpy.
Oh.
And I didn't get tired. And I was like, huh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
So we get home and my husband's a mechanical engineer and he's like, let's make this. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
So he like goes in the basement and he's starts playing with all the carboys and he's making it. And one time, we set up these like little science experiments with all these mason jars, and we'd have like different levels of like we were trying lavender at one time to add
Yeah.
into a base mead. And every single one tasted like soap. We added way too much
Oh
lavender. It was horrible. So we like
no.
well, now we're scared to touch it. We haven't
Yeah.
touched
I
it
would be
since, but
too.
Yeah.
I love it in
um
coffee, but in
Right.
small
Yeah.
amounts.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
tiny amounts
Yeah.
because if it's too much, you don't want to
It is
drink
soap. Yeah.
soap.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, lots of that. Like we were carrying up he was carrying a glass 5-gallon carboy of mead he had just finished up the stairs. Remember our old house?
Yes, I do.
And yeah, and we just would carry it. So we had those few stairs up from the basement.
Yeah.
And he carried up and it kind of was slipping. So he set it down and he set it down a little too hard and it just
Oh
crashed.
my God. 5 gallons?
no.
We had 5 gallons of mead like running down the stairs into the basement.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh no.
not so good. But that's a
That's
very, again, I'm on the long story track today. But
That's
no, it's
okay. This
great.
is
so
great.
Yeah.
we yes, we started making it and serving it to friends in our garage, and they're like, "This is really good." And so Tim's like, "Hey, we should do this," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Sure, okay, whatever." Not really thinking he's talking about
Serious.
like
Yeah,
quitting
right. Yeah.
his
Full-time
quitting
job.
his consulting job
Yeah.
and
No.
me quitting my job and us doing this full time. And then he's like, "No, no, I want to quit everything and do this." And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm going to need more convincing. So it took him about 6 months, but he's a very compelling,
Yes.
convincing person. And he's like, "You
Yeah.
won't have to do on call anymore. We'll be able to be more present with the kids and have more energy, and you can do beekeeping." And I hadn't been beekeeping before this,
Okay.
but I'd always wanted to, and in 2008, when we were hearing across the news, like colony collapse, the bees are dying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, ooh, like I want to figure out how to help the bees, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so we literally walked into a cafe and a local cafe and found a jar of honey that they were selling. And we looked on the back and called the guy, cold called him,
Did you? Nice. Yeah.
the beekeeper. And Tim's like, "Hey, can we buy some honey from you?" So that was our first 5 gallon bucket of
Oh.
honey. So
Oh.
60
Oh.
pounds of honey. And that was our first
Wow.
batch. And Tim's like, "Hey, would you let Isla come and beekeep with you?" And he's like, "Sure." So
Oh.
on my days off from working at the vet clinic, I would
Yeah.
apprentice with this beekeeper. So I
Oh
How
did
my
that
gosh.
cool.
all summer long.
That's
And I was
cool.
like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
I could, and this, it was a great way to get into it with an
Because I know
experienced
that
beekeeper.
locally, I've heard there's just here in Colorado, there's a few people that are like, oh, you take a certification course, or, there's like a whole like beekeeper certified pathway. But I always wondered if you just find somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like you just
Yeah.
called someone,
Yeah.
right? Can you just,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah. I
have to
mean,
go
you
through the
literally
course?
could buy a package of bees.
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
package of bees comes, it's literally 3 pounds of bees that were shaken into this like screened in box, and
Uh
they
huh.
put a queen that's in a cage like that she's bred, and they
Uh huh.
literally put her in the box.
Okay.
You can buy,
Okay.
anybody can buy a
You
three
can
Okay.
just
pound package of
start
bees. I don't
whenever.
recommend that.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
I don't
there's a lot
recommend
more.
that,
Yeah,
but
I
there's a
am
lot more
very
to
like
it.
we are similar, and I like all of
Yeah.
the A B C D E F
Yeah.
G H. Like I
yeah.
follow and research all the things before.
Well, you would not
Hmm.
want your bees to die.
Right. Well,
I
no,
mean,
that's
Right.
like defeats the
Right.
purpose, right?
yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think honestly, I mean, it's great to go through, a certification process,
Mhm.
and I'm sure it that helps people understand
Mhm.
beekeeping a lot better. But
Mhm.
there's also something to be said about like you have to do it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And learn
So
from people
you have to
directly,
Yeah.
kind
like in
of
person,
Yeah.
get out of theory mode and get into action. And so I joined the local beekeeping club, and
Cool.
Yeah.
and find a mentor, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have, my mentor, the guy that we bought that first,
Aw.
5 gallon bucket of honey from.
Yeah.
What was really cool is that, I'd literally have him on speed dial, because I'd be uh, like, "I'm seeing this. I don't know. Is that, I don't know." And he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, just give it a few more days." And so, because the first year I was a little ambitious and I had 25 hives, which
Oh
I
my. So
25?
recommend.
she
Whoa.
admittedly,
Yeah.
this is all like her MO is
Yeah, it's
like
just
just
I'm just
go.
gonna I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do
Yeah.
it.
How hard can this be?
So
Oh my
yeah, I was like, "How
gosh.
hard? This is fine.
It's
It's no
fine.
problem."
What's
But
the
honestly,
average
that was a
someone starts off with
huge.
hive wise?
Usually,
Like,
people recommend two, because then you have
oh,
like one to
okay.
compare it to.
Okay.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just
yeah. So
okay.
two is like
Uh,
manageable and
yeah.
reasonable. 25 was not,
Okay. Yeah.
but it was
Oh my
literally like
God.
my internship year, because it was like drinking out of a fire hose, and then
Yeah.
like I have so much to figure out, and I saw a ton, made
Yeah.
a ton of mistakes, and then I was like, "Oh, okay." So I
You
feel
got
like
this.
people that only have two hives, it takes them many years to get up that
Right.
much of experience.
Yeah.
True.
And
True. And so
so
how many do you have now?
I have like 35. Um,
Okay.
In
yeah,
different
so
locations, right? I don't know much about bees,
mhm.
but they
Oh,
can't be super close together.
right.
Yeah, so they call them apiaries, three different bee yards.
Okay.
And it used to be that you could have about 30 hives in a bee yard.
Okay.
And because there was enough forage.
Oh,
But that was before
yeah.
they sprayed
Mm-hmm.
and before we were so invested in monoculture.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
and so my mentor says he remembers when they used to have this really cool, like, it was a pink wildflower. It was kind of a weed, but it would grow up in between all the corn stalks, and the bees loved it.
Mm,
Right. Well,
yeah.
those,
Spraying kills all
when
that.
you see dirt in between all the
Yeah.
rows of corn,
Yep.
that means they're definitely sprayed.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
So there's no
Otherwise, you'd
pink
have to be
flowers.
growing there.
Well,
wow.
yeah.
No
Yeah.
flowers. So
Huh.
that I went to I think it was 2022.
Hmm.
It was in Schaumburg, the big bee convention, and
Cool.
they were like, it was so
So
cool. Yeah,
cool.
I was just hanging out at all the bee research, and I was like, yeah, this is my jam.
Yeah.
So they were like, when we needed to figure out colony collapse and that what was going on with the bees, they approached it like an epidemiologist. They're like, okay, we're going to get the nutritionist, best, the best of the best, right? The
Yep.
nutritionist, the parasitologist, the virologist, the toxicologist, all sitting at the same table and say, okay, you guys hash it out. Who basically, what are the biggest issues facing the bees? And what they figured out was it's twofold: it's nutrition and lack of thereof,
Hmm.
and the mite.
Okay.
And so, there's all this debate, and you'll appreciate this, Chelsea, from living in Wisconsin, about like, how do you overwinter the bees and how much insulation do you put on and blah blah blah, all this stuff. And like, none of it matters, because what
Okay.
matters is the mite and the nutrition
Okay.
and
Okay.
a wind block. But
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's doable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Well,
so that's what I focus on.
I'm doing
Cool.
my USDA modules right now.
Oh.
And that's what, every other year, I think. I don't know,
Okay.
or every third year. But I chose, and this is before you and I had reconnected. It was a couple months ago, but I chose the B one. There's like 25 modules. And I don't think
Cool.
I've done that one before. And then by the end of it, it's like 86 slides or something. By the end of it, I was like, how do any bees survive?
Yeah.
Because all you're learning about is
Yeah.
communicable
It's,
diseases and, yes,
hmm
viruses, bacteria, mites, all the things that happen. And the
Wow.
whole time, I'm like going through it. I'm like, how does she do it? How does she
How
keep
does
them
she
alive?
do it?
Well,
It's
the crazy
crazy.
thing is it really emphasized for me that idea that the bees are exposed to most of this all the time.
Hmm.
Just
Okay.
like we're exposed to like staph on our skin all the
Yeah.
time, and we don't
Right.
get a staph infection unless we
Yeah.
have something else going on.
Okay.
It's the same with the bees, right?
Okay.
They're exposed to all the fungi that cause shock brood, but
Yeah.
only certain hives are more susceptible to it. And it turns
Okay.
out when you stack, European foul brood, which is a bacterial disease, on
Okay.
top of chalk brood, or on top of just that, fungus, maybe it's a little bit wet. So there's more of that fungus
Yeah.
growing. You're going
Okay.
to see more chalk brood cases, right? And so it's
Okay.
this idea of like, um, how do things stack?
Okay.
And each year is different. And how can you limit the virus pressure
Okay.
and the mite pressure? Um, and I can't, to a certain extent, I can't, because the bees will fly, 3 up to 5 miles in all directions
Oh,
in
That's
search of
crazy.
forage. And
oh.
then, and so I can't, I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
crazy. People will be like, organic honey. I'm like, do you really have apiaries in the middle of like a 5 mile
Right?
radius around you
Yeah.
Right.
that's organic?
Like,
Like,
Yeah.
no,
how do
I
you
don't know
know?
about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because they can go wherever they want. So it's
Okay.
interesting that way. Some of it is like population medicine, and
Yeah.
some of it's like you can't really control where they go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
That's
mentor was like, we planted this whole herb garden and they just flew right over it. They went somewhere else.
He just
I mean,
flew
because
right
the
over it.
bees will fly to wherever the best, nectar source,
Okay.
um, and pollen source, right? So just right now, in the middle of April in Wisconsin, we had our typical dandelion bloom.
Yes.
And that's really the first source of nectar
Okay.
for a lot of for the honeybees as well as the native bees. Up
Okay.
until then, they're just bringing in pollen, which
Okay.
is the protein for the bees.
Okay.
And so that's what allows them to raise a lot of brood or baby bees.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the nectar is their carbohydrate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but the bees will choose,
Mm-hmm.
the nectar can be anywhere from 40% water to 80% water, right?
Okay.
And so it's sweeter if it's less diluted, right?
Yeah.
So the
Mm-hmm.
40% water nectar, the bees are going to go for that
Mm-hmm.
because it's a lot less work for them to have to dry it down
Yeah.
Yeah.
because to go from nectar to honey, they have to get to 18% water.
18%. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is so cool.
Yeah. You have
It's super
Trish's
fun.
interest for sure.
Super fan.
Yes. Okay, so I have like really specific questions about the meadery itself or the process of making mead.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
listeners that have not tasted it, or anything, know much about it, what is the process different from, say, brewing beer or cider?
Yeah.
Yeah, great question. So with cider, your fermentable sugar is going to be apple juice, right?
Mm.
And then for beer, your fermentable sugar is going to be um, basically the starch from the grains. So you have to
Okay.
cook the grains first when you make beer, and then process it that way. And it requires a ton of water.
Okay.
Um, and then all that water needs to basically be, you know, it's not reused, a
Reused.
lot of
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I honestly think that the mead is probably the most eco-friendly way to make alcohol
Okay.
because it doesn't require irrigation, right? So a
Okay.
lot of the grapes, those vineyards have to be irrigated,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
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 A lot of the crops, barley and wheat, a lot of those crops are irrigated, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So it requires a lot less water because the bees are scrappy. They'll find nectar. And think about clover in the grass. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
great nectar source for bees, and
Okay.
it does great when there's a drought.
Yeah.
Versus the rest of the grass gets brown and crispy, but the clover's happy.
Yeah.
So the bees, they find sources,
Are
Mm-hmm.
you
and
fermenting honey? Is that what you're really
yeah. So we're
can?
taking.
Oh.
Yeah, I realize I'm
Okay.
getting off the
Oh,
topic.
Okay.
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 But so we're taking the honey, and then we use 100% raw honey, and we
Oh.
ferment that.
Oh.
And so we never, important in our process is we never heat it above hive temperature.
Okay.
So 95 degrees is where the bees keep the hive temperature, the brood nest.
Okay.
Wow.
And we never heat it above that because we want all of the
Yeah.
antioxidants, the probiotics to be able to stay in the product itself.
Okay.
And so some breweries, when they use honey, they're like, we got to boil it and pasteurize it. And I'm like, no, you don't. Then you're just basically making an expensive sugar because then you're
Yeah.
losing all the
Ah.
benefits, right?
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, so we're really careful with our processing, and then basically it's super clean. So it's
Okay.
just raw honey,
Yeah.
yeast, and water.
Yeah.
And
Gosh,
then
that's
Wow.
amazing. And then you add
we'll add
flavorings.
hops. Yeah, we'll add hops for flavoring. We add real ingredients for flavoring. So we'll
Okay.
use cherries from Door County for some,
Okay.
we have a tart cherry
Okay.
product that's really delicious. And then we've been really having fun with teas. So we'll make a tea
Okay.
batch
Ooh.
and then we'll ferment that in. And
Okay.
so you get a lot of the tea flavors.
That's
So
cool.
really, it's really refreshing. It tastes more like a cider champagne than a traditional mead. So its
Okay.
ABV is like 6 to 7%,
Okay.
more like a craft beer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, but it's funny because it is definitely in this gray space of like it's not a cider, it's not a beer, it's not a wine, but
Huh.
it's
Yeah.
like somewhere in the middle. And
Yeah.
so some people will be like, "Oh yeah, I really like this one. It reminds me of a Sauvignon Blanc." I'm like, "Okay." And
Oh.
then another person will be like, "I really like this because I normally drink Miller Lite, but I really like this one, and it's the same one."
Huh.
And
It's
you're
the
like,
same one.
Same.
"Okay,
Weird. Huh.
okay, cool."
Yeah.
Um,
As long as you like
so
it.
So how
yeah,
much are
everyone's got their
you
own taste
like
buds.
volume wise? How much are you producing
Well,
then?
yeah.
I guess what's
Can your hives
yeah,
make
like
everything you need?
keep up with what you're
No,
doing.
so
Okay.
my hives last year, and I only remember this because this year I was born, 1982, 1,982 pounds of honey
Oh,
last
Oh,
year.
how funny.
And
Okay. Oh
whoa.
God, that's a
Okay.
yeah,
lot. That's a lot.
yeah,
1,982.
yeah. So
$2,000
we
pounds of.
store it in 55-gallon drums. So
Okay.
Shoot.
you can get
Okay.
about 650 pounds per drum. So
Okay.
it's a lot of
Wow.
Yeah.
drums.
Yeah.
Um,
Where do you store
Yeah.
all of
So
this? You
Well, in
have
their tap room.
a
we
whole
have a
Yeah.
big tap room.
A
Yeah.
big tap room.
And so
okay, cool.
yeah, so what's crazy is that we thought when we opened, we're like, we have all this space. We made this one huge room into
Cool.
like this kid room because we're like, we don't know what to do with all this space. Now it's like we have very little room anywhere because
Oh my
we needed
You've
gosh.
it for
grown.
another cooler and for storage and yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So
and you can it now, right? The mead. And so you have distribution
yeah, we
channels
do.
and canned
Cool.
mead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
it. How
Can you
neat.
get
And
it
so
out?
it's been fun. Oh, go ahead.
Can we get it outside of Wisconsin or
Yeah.
only in Wisconsin? Where?
So we can ship I forget all the states we can ship to. I think Colorado's one of them.
Oh, okay.
We can't ship to a few states because just the rules are a little bit wonky
Yeah,
for
Yeah.
I'm
it's
sure.
technically a
It's
wine.
yeah.
So
Right.
Okay.
some states are
Interesting.
some counties are dry counties and you can't ship to those counties.
Oh,
So
yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
That's
That is
crazy.
so cool. I think that's so neat. I
Thank
love that you
you.
did
Thank
that
you.
and just it was kind of like in your home, just together. That's how
Yeah.
everything starts.
That's
I
how
think
everything
just
starts.
small
Yeah.
stuff, and people
Well,
are like, "Oh,
actually,
maybe we could do this."
I think it's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I remember that story that Tim was the driving force of finding you something that like helped you stay healthy and then also like pushed you guys to do that. So I think that's really cool.
Thanks. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been really cool to feel like we're creating something that not only is something that people really want, but it's something that is for more health conscious people.
Yep. Yep.
People that read their ingredient lists. Like we have a lot of food allergies in my house.
Mhm.
Corn, my daughter's allergic to corn. They
That's in
put corn in
everything.
Oh,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally
Oh,
I cook
makes it so hard.
from scratch all the time.
Oh my
And
yeah.
gosh.
so for people like I can't have gluten, but everything's gluten free now, right? I mean, or
Yeah.
there's a lot of gluten free
It's easier.
There's
options,
a
Yeah.
right?
lot of
But
options now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what do they put in all the gluten free
Corn.
options? Corn. So
That's
she'd been
evil.
eating gluten free with
Yeah.
me because
Yeah.
everyone else at the family eats gluten free mostly, and she's been eating a lot of corn, and so she was having all
Oh,
these skin issues. And
yeah.
anyway, 3 months off corn and her skin issues are going away, and so is
Wow.
her. She used to get like cramps all the time, muscle cramps, and that's
Oh,
gone away too.
oh.
So
Jeez.
Well, good for you to figure
yeah,
it out.
Yeah,
That's when
seriously.
an ingredient like that, an allergen, is just so hard because it's in everything. So it's actually really hard
it's
to
in
figure it
everything.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
It is. Yeah, we have some really good people around us, a lot of
good.
alternative
Yeah.
practitioners that are
Yeah.
fantastic. And so we've been really blessed that way.
Speaking,
I forget how we get on that tangent.
well, no, you're good. I
It's
just wanted, I
great.
had questions about the meadery specifically.
It's so cool.
But do you have other bee questions? I
I
wanted to
mean,
segue.
probably, but maybe we should be friends outside of this because my bee questions would probably
Take
all
hours.
consume the rest. Yeah.
She doesn't have that much time.
Yeah.
Have you picked up? I knew you're acupuncture certified. Have you have you gone through the chiropractic training or where are you at with that?
No, I ran some numbers and I
Yeah.
realized that when um, I was like, okay, what's my ideal day, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that was really hard for me was driving all over the place. In this area, there's and not a huge density of horses. Well, actually, there's a decent density of horses, but there's a lot of other veterinarians. And so some of the
Yeah.
clients are like an hour
Oh,
east, and then other clients are an hour west. And so
yeah.
I remember days of the practice, I'm sure you remember this too, where like you'd literally drive an hour east, go give 2 vaccinations, drive an hour,
Ugh.
2 hours to your next client to give two more
That's
vaccinations. And I was
crazy.
like,
Yeah.
I lost money for the company today.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Right.
there's no way they made
Well, and
there's
your
no way,
sanity.
right?
Like,
Right. And
it just
just
doesn't.
windshield time for
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
fulfilling.
right,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right. And so I was like, starting out to do a chiropractic practice, like you take, starting out any practice, right? You take
Yeah.
whoever calls you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure.
then I thought about, well, I'd want to try to make it efficient. And I have got a young family now and I've got to pick up at school and all this. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right, if I just saw people from like,
10
9 to
to 2.
2,
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah.
Yes.
and I was like, I wouldn't actually, with
You wouldn't
drive
make
time and everything,
money.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't make any money. And I
Yeah.
would spend all this time doing this. And I was like,
Yeah.
and it's not about, I didn't jump into this to make a bunch of money, right? To
Right.
become a veterinarian, right?
Right.
But like your business has to at least be profitable.
Yeah. It
Yes.
has to make
Otherwise,
sense.
it's not you're wasting your time,
Yeah.
right? And your time
Yes.
is your most valuable resource, your
Yes.
time and your energy. So
Correct.
I'm like, all right, well, that doesn't make any sense. And the chiropractic is something I think that you need to do.
You can't,
You need to do a
it's
lot to get good
hands-on.
at it,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yes.
so I was like, all right, I don't think this is going to be a path for me.
Yeah.
And so, but doing the bees, and that's been really fun. Oh, and the newest development is that I am gonna most likely pick up some relief work, doing
Okay.
some emergency on call, but like
Okay.
just
Nice.
sparingly,
Yes. Yes.
um, because like the spring I can't. I mean, May
Right.
is absolutely nuts.
Okay.
I know it's nuts for the vet clinics too, but like I can't in May. It's
Yeah.
too crazy with the bees.
But you can pick and
Um,
choose, which is amazing
right, but I
with
can do
relief.
the fall would be
Sure.
great. And
Yeah.
so
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
so
so
that's
excited.
my new
Okay.
thought.
So you'll still be around horses, right? Because that's equine, or is
Yeah.
that small animal? Okay.
Oh, it's equine. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Still don't want to deal with dogs
Eyes
and
got
cats.
big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
horses.
Yes.
Just
Well, that's
horses. I'm like,
good.
it's my comfort zone
Yeah.
right
Yes.
there.
Are you
Yes.
able to like ride locally at all anymore, anywhere, or friends or anything like
Yeah,
that?
so I have a friend who has a lovely dressage barn. I actually keep some of my bees there. And so I've taken some lessons with her. She's
Oh,
got some
fun.
really nice schoolmasters. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's been fun. My frustration is I know this much and my body can do this much. And so without riding consistently, I feel like I'm
Yeah.
just,
It's
you
just,
know,
well, it becomes then
I don't
more
know.
of a
And
stressor that you can't do the level you want,
that makes sense.
like you think you should be able to
right.
do.
And that's
Yeah.
right. And that
That makes
and I feel
sense.
like the next step is probably to have my own horse, because then you develop that the relationship is so fun,
Yeah.
and that part it brings a whole nother element to it. But I need to have more time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
for
not.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it, Chelsea. I mean,
She's
I don't go to the farm very
superwoman.
much. I mean, that's the thing. I have to rely on, and like right now I don't, in the last year, I haven't had people riding my horses for me, but, with my 8-year-old moving up to modified, like I can't ride more than 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And so then, and that is booking to where I'm not full-time with Heritage, my equine clinic. You know, I basically do our other companies like part-time, you know, and I just schedule and everything.
I don't know.
And
how
so
she
I
does
just
it.
have these like, well, you do the same
Mm,
thing,
well,
but I just have these time frames that I have. And then I'm like, this
right.
is what I can do. I cannot expect my horse to run modified injury-free and like safely without having more fitness. So I'm like, I'm
Right.
approaching that right now. And I'm not, he doesn't need to, he's not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry. Like we figure it out, you know? And then I've got a 7-year-old up and coming, but it's just, you know, that's my self-care, you know, are those times.
Yeah.
And then I just take off, like a group of us veterinarians is going to badminton next week.
So cool.
You
and
are
so,
fun.
but yeah,
So cool.
but yeah, I think what Brett and I through practice ownership have figured out is setting it up smartly with your bout, like kind of to what you were saying. We don't go out to vaccinate 2 horses. Like I won't go do a health cert on 1 horse.
Right.
Like I'm just not going to do it. And it's got to be,
No.
we've got to be smart about our time. And it's so funny because when you train the clients and of course we're in a horse dense area and a lot of sport horses. So I can do this, which I appreciate so much, is that I've really educated clients. I have great horses to work on, you know, like all the perfect things. And then we're smart about where we go. And I'm not afraid to say no,
Right.
you know, I mean, there's just times where I'm like, we're lucky to have an urgent care in our area. And there's times where I'm like, that's not on me. Like, I don't have to go do that emergency. There's somebody very capable, very close. And we're not territorial. We have great colleagues. So I think the answer for my work-life balance is Brett and I both being like, family first, working part-time is fine. We're happy with the money we make.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be like, you know, prize winning, practice, gross, you know, gross revenues, all that is just like whatever it keeps us happy, you know?
Right.
So, right.
Yeah. That's how you have to do it. You have to do
moderation.
it that way. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
You have
But
to.
it's just, you watch like generationally the people before us trying to hit certain benchmarks and numbers, and you're like, that's great, but we're like happy with what we have.
Bills are
you
paid.
know?
We're doing
Bills are
great.
paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
That's
comfortable.
exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's exactly right. I mean, I remember at one of the AEP or one of the AEP conferences, um, they were talking about the generational divide, and this is many years ago, and the generation we're talking about that are all starting to retire,
Mhm.
they were pissed. And so afterward, uh, my colleague went up and asked him, like, why are you so angry?
Yeah.
And he's like, because your generations figured it out and I couldn't. And I was like,
Oh.
oh,
It's like
so
very
like that's
personal.
a generation that like couldn't
Mhm.
figure out how to do family.
Yeah.
And that's a generational thing, period, whether
It
you're
is.
talking about
True.
veterinary medicine or
Yeah.
anything else, right?
Yes.
But that's a
Yes.
generation that, you know, probably wanted to spend more time with their family, but
Yep.
because of societal pressures and everything else,
Mhm.
like weren't
Yep.
able to. So then their life had to become their practice.
Right.
Mhm.
And then their life was only the practice because everything else fell
It
away.
And
falls
not
apart.
only family stuff, but just like zero individual self-care,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
that's,
the health. I mean,
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Health,
Yeah.
hobbies.
Everything. Even, I mean, mentally too, like just
You're
your own,
right.
like just mental health
They're
in
not-
general, like taking care of that. Cause that's been huge for me in this last year, especially that I've really tried to work through is the guilt of putting your own mental health first. Cause then you're like, oh, well, I shouldn't have gone and done that for 3 hours. Like I could have gone and whatever, done other things. But then I feel like
mhm.
I've personally gotten a little better with prioritizing
Yeah.
my own mental health and getting stuff done regardless still. So I'm like, okay, well, I can get this
Yeah.
Still
done
get it done.
for
Yeah.
this, hour
Yeah.
and a half in the morning. And then I get 2 hours.
Mhm.
And then I can
Right.
still do things in between them during the week, right? It's kind of like a
Right.
crazy like juggle, but you have to like make it work however your own life makes sense
Yeah.
doing that. But
Right.
then like the guilt
Oh
attached
my
to that
God.
for me has been like, like,
Well,
and then you
and
just don't,
You have
don't
to
go
stop.
there.
and you have
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
let go of that,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
then I thought is that kind of toxic productivity
Right.
that
Yes.
Yes.
is like at the heart of kind of capitalism.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
becoming a
It
very big
is.
conversation. But
Yeah.
like it's always more, 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 more,
Mhm.
more.
Yeah.
And at one
Mhm.
point you're like, I can't do anymore.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. You
I'm gonna
break.
lose my
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose my
Right.
you know what.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean I think those are hugely important lessons. And I realized kind of thinking about coming back into practice, like
Mm.
I have developed a lot of skills to protect myself
Mhm.
from turning into just that people pleaser. Yes, I'll do everything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to like, here are my boundaries. I can kindly state them, but hold them firm
Mhm.
and say, this is what I, like you said, Chelsea, like what you're willing to or not willing to do,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and protect your time,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because that is huge. Because in vet school, I mean, I feel like especially fourth year is a little bit like the military. Like your time is not your own.
Mm-mm.
They tell you to be here at 7 a.m. after doing rounds, and you're up at 5 doing a round so you could be there at 7 a.m. Like
Yeah.
you are a little bit of a soldier,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And then you get out of practice, and so you're used to that, and you do an
Mm.
internship, and that's a whole nother year of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, oh wait, I have to prioritize myself.
Yeah.
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 Okay, right? Like we're not taught how to do that.
No.
Right. Right.
Well, you'd
And I feel
follow
like it,
footsteps, and
Yeah.
those footsteps where you just put your head down and like
That
nose to the
generation,
grindstone.
right?
You
Yeah.
don't. You don't
right.
take time for yourself. And yeah, and they were pissed for a while. And I think most like, I think we're just lucky to be in this generation, right, where there's a big shift, and now there's productivity
Mhm.
tools, dictation software, all the things, just even AI listening in on appointments to make summaries, so your records are shorter. Like there are all these cool tools that we can now use to protect all our like personal time as well,
Yeah.
and make sure that
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of better practice cultures out there.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm
There's definitely
yeah.
been a shift,
Yeah.
and that's been really positive.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. Well, I'm excited that you can do a little bit of relief work because you're
Yeah.
a great doctor, and people would love to have you out.
Thank you.
And
It's been crazy because I went I just brought my puppy in to get spayed at the same
Mhm.
clinic where I used to work.
yeah,
And I haven't worked there for 8 years,
Okay.
8 years. And they're like, we still have people call in and ask for you. And I was like,
Oh,
Oh,
what?
that's nice
Like,
to hear.
it
and we
doesn't
have people
surprise
show
me
up at the
in the
tap
least,
room.
Right.
but
Just after the short time of newly meeting you today, I
yeah,
definitely would probably share the same sentiment as a client.
yes,
So,
yes.
Oh, that's really
no,
sweet. But
no.
yeah, I mean that just makes you feel good, right?
Well, it
So
does. Yeah, yeah. That's a very cool thing.
Nice.
Um, well, thank you for your time
Yeah,
today. It's been so
thank you.
you're
fun.
It was
welcome.
so
This is
nice to
Yeah,
really
meet
fun.
you.
yeah,
I can't wait to follow your
Likewise.
Instagram.
yeah. Well, I just found your
Yes,
And
your
learn
please
Isla
more.
do.
Bees one on Instagram. I had just had your
Yeah, that
personal
one
one
hasn't been
before.
getting a lot of love. I've been taking
That's okay.
a
It's
mental
cute.
health break from social media
Good.
because
Heck
it was
yes.
driving me nuts.
We have hired a
So
social media person. Shout
Yeah,
out to Ellie. She'll hear this.
yeah.
Hi, Ellie. You're the best.
nice.
But
Yeah,
that was,
please.
yeah,
People that
it's
love it and are
social
good at
media.
it,
Yep,
they're great.
yep,
Totally. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. It's a very hard world on the
Awesome.
internet.
Yeah. Trish did it. Well, you're still doing
Yes.
it, but Trish did it
Well,
for a long time solely, and that was one of those things where like, how do we get help
I
with
eventually
this?
started kind of teetering off a bunch of them, and I'd look at Chelsea and be like, I haven't posted anything in like a week and a half. I'm really sorry, but
And I'm
I
over
need to
here
take
like in my
breaks.
little
She's like, I have no
like
idea.
yeah,
It's
I don't
okay.
check.
She's like, it's
Like,
fine.
I don't care.
I
I'm
don't
not
care,
telling you to
Trish.
do it. We can
Yeah.
just
She's like best
we just,
partner ever. She's
just
like,
have to
it's
keep
okay.
showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Social is hard. I
It
don't
is. Yeah.
it's a beast in and of itself. So yeah.
Yeah,
Um
it is.
well cool. Well
Well,
thank you. It
thanks
was
for
so
having
great
me
to
on,
see
you
you.
guys. So
Yeah.
yeah, likewise.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool.
All right. Well, take
Take
care.
care.
And I hope the bees do well in the spring.
Yes. Yeah. They're
Thank you.
feasting,
Appreciate
feasting
that.
on dandelions.
Yeah, they love it. All
Good.
right.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We would really love to have you as a guest on our podcast. So if you have any fun stories to share with us or would like to be a guest, we have a form on our website. So unhingedandOnCall.com. And you just click on the little link there and you can fill out a little bit about your story and yourself, and then we would get back to you. Or you can just email us to chat@unhingedandOnCall.com and just tell us a little bit about yourself. And we would love to have you as a guest.
We also are looking for ratings. So essentially on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, you can rate and review our show, and that would be super helpful in just getting kind of into the algorithm. And then additionally, we are on YouTube. So if you ever want to watch videos, we put more content, like visual content, so pictures, videos, things like that, into the episodes. So we'd love to have you follow or subscribe our channels on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and follow us for all the latest updates. Unhinged and On Call isn't just a podcast. It's a lifeline for every veterinary professional barely holding it together with vet wrap and caffeine. Somewhere out there, another tech, vet, or assistant is deep in the same chaos, dodging poop, managing meltdowns, and wondering if they're the only one unraveling. You're not. Whether you're laughing or crying or rage cleaning your truck, you've got a whole tribe behind you. You're unhinged, but never alone.